One person that will know about the highs and lows of what it's like to be on a treadmill and to run crazy distances is Michael Wardian. And I see that he's in the weight room. He's going to be joining us any minute. I'm conscious, Tommy, that you were meant to be joining us for around about 30 minutes, and now you've been here a little bit longer. So I don't know if you need to say goodbye, or you want to hang around and join Michael Wardian in the conversation over the next 30 minutes.
Oh man, my schedule's clear. So whatever y'all want, you know. I don't want to overdo it, but you know, it's definitely good to see Mike and you know, Jacky. This is just incredibly inspiring. I'm kind of fanboying out over here. So
okay,
you know.
let's leave you there then for the next 30 minutes if you're happy to do that, and we can
absolutely
we can all have a nice party for my 2-hour slot. I'm going to bring Michael Wardian in. Michael, how are you doing?
Good, man. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you. So you need no introduction. You are my favorite crazy ultra runner friend who relentlessly runs and runs and runs. I'm always a little bit gobsmacked by the quantity of running that you do. And if somebody ever asks me, who do I know that absolutely loves running? You would always be my answer, because you do love running. So I know that you're going to be geeking out watching Zach on the treadmill at the moment. You said when you heard about Zach going for this record that this was an incredible challenge. What's it like to be on a treadmill trying to run this sort of pace?
Well, I think running that pace anywhere is tough, and it looks like he's going super smooth right now. I mean, I was surprised also. I jumped on a little early. I saw him, you know, take the bathroom break, but usually for me that happens, you know, in the first little bit too, like the first 45 minutes, you know, if you weren't able to, you know, get everything that you were hoping, you know, out before you started. You know, that's when everything kind of shakes up, and especially running the pace he's running. But I mean, I have no doubts that Zach is prepared. Like, he's always locked in, and he looks super smooth. Yeah, I'm looking at, like, he's like me when I'm running, you know, hard on the treadmill. He's like up almost hitting the lip, you know, so you can see, like, I'm sure later in the event, like, it's got a pretty long track on that treadmill, it looks like, but not as long as some. So I'm curious if you'll see him like start to like slide back past the little handles at some point. And usually when I'm going for you know, a record on the treadmill or something, if I'm starting to struggle, you start to see me slide back a little bit on the treadmill and just try to stay on. So he looks like he's in real good control there. I was surprised. It looks like he needs more fans, man. I always get so hot.
Yeah, I do too.
So I would have like 2 or 3 fans going. And I know he's got to wear a sponsor shirt, but man, he might want to strip that thing off at some point and just be able to get as much air across your body as possible. Because that's one thing on the treadmill, that sometimes it can get a little bit stuffy and just kind of claustrophobic in there. And so to get that airflow going, you know, it is important, I think.
Okay, so we've got a progress update coming in. So he's through 13 miles in 1:25:39. So the graph is showing that obviously he's on record pace, which is good. I mean, it's still very, very early days. Mike, you set the world record for 50K on a treadmill, which you did on a cruise ship. I mean, only Michael Wardian would run a 50K on a treadmill on a cruise ship. And not only did you do it once, you found out that because you didn't do your research properly, that when you did it the first time, you actually didn't break the record. So you went and did it again 48 hours later. I mean, you know, Guy, I mean, it's like crazy. Can you hear me, Mike? We've lost Mike for the moment, so I'm going to bring Tommy in because he's smiling at me. I mean, I was just saying about Mike running a 50K, thinking that he'd set a world record, and then realized he didn't. So 48 hours later, he went and did it again and set the world record. I mean,
Oh man.
I mean, what level of crazy is that?
Oh, I remember seeing that. I remember hearing about that, and honestly, my reaction was it was admiration, but it was also frustration. It was just like, oh, come on, man. Like, like you can't set the bar that high so that, nobody else can ever reach it, because, it's one thing to set a world record. It's one thing to set a world record, just right after you've already attempted it one time and you go back and actually do it right the second time. If anybody can do it, it's Mike. I am constantly just blown away at just the level that he just brings it over and over and over. Just, I mean, honestly, just establishing new levels of what humans are capable of. Zach and, obviously Zach and Jacky and Mike, they're all in that realm. And so, I look up to all of them. Yeah. But, sometimes with a little bit of frustration, because,
So wait, Mike, can you guys hear me now? Like,
we can we can hear you now.
I think everyone got muted when they did the update, so they wouldn't. When someone had to unmute me, so I'm unmuted now.
So you're unmuted. Let me ask you, Mike, that coronavirus has really elevated virtual running to a whole new level in this last 3 months, because we've all needed some sort of interaction with our community. We've all needed challenges and goals. You did the Quarantine Backyard Ultra and ran 263 miles. And please tell the audience, how do you do this? Because if anybody achieved that just once for the year, it would be incredible. But like, you were racing, you were doing FKTs the days before it. You went and ran some crazy distance like a week after it. How do you do this?
Yeah, I think the week before that, I ran like a 2:33 marathon around my block. And yeah, I was lucky. I jumped into that quarantine backyard race. Yeah, kind of at the last minute, like on a Wednesday, and it was on Saturday, and I was going to do a fastest known time around Washington, D.C. And I decided, well, I'd rather hang out with 2,400 people from around the world than do something I can do like any weekend I want. So I jumped in and didn't really have any expectations. Just wanted to like try to go further than I'd ever gone before, which was about 36 hours or 184 miles or like 300 kilometers. And
I could see Jacky and Tommy both shaking their heads, like going, like, "No way! What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I watched it the whole time, and I was just like in awe, because I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is just amazing."
Yeah, it's actually like a perfect race for me. It's like it was awesome because it was kind of an evolution of everything that I've worked on. And Ian was there last year when I ran across Israel, and I really learned a lot about myself, running 100 kilometers a day for 10 days, basically. And I was able to use that. And then even my training, like most of my training, I don't go for like 30-mile runs. I go for like, 6 or 7, 8-mile runs, but, a couple, 3 times a day. And so, when you have to go and then, hang out for like 10 minutes and then go again, like that was actually kind of perfect for me. And I don't need a lot of sleep, and that also plays into that event. But it is man, it was one of those special days where, well, special couple days, I guess, where everything kind of went right. I had one real bad patch, but other than that, I felt pretty great. And it was unfortunate we didn't get to keep going, because I think we could have, we did something pretty special, but I think we could have done something, even more incredible.
Yeah, only you, Mike, would say that it was a shame you had to stop at 263 miles. Let me ask you about one specific point, because part of the challenge is that you had to sort of stay home because of the coronavirus, and people could run on treadmills, or like yourself, you could run around your housing estate or in the garden. Now, you had the choice to run on a treadmill or to run around your estate. And it came down to just two of you being left, you and Radic. And Radic was on a treadmill and you were running around your housing estate. And when I interviewed you and asked you and posed the question, why did you choose running around your house rather than a treadmill? And your response was, it was harder.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're different.
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you because Zach has come off the treadmill and he's now swapping treadmills.
Oh, okay. I see that.
So he's got two treadmills, and he's come off the one which is on the left and now moved to the one on the right. Now, he did this at 20 minutes into the day, which I thought was early, and now we're at 1 hour 38, and he swapped treadmills again. Now, he did say pre the attempt that he would do things to rotate distractions. Now, maybe just coming off one treadmill and moving to the next is part of that distraction. But Mike, Tommy, Jacky, is there any reason that you can think that I'm not considering that he would switch treadmills?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's closer to the fan on that treadmill. So I don't know if he's starting to get hot, but it looks to me like he's closer to the fan.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has like a TV or something also. Like, it looks like that has a better view. Like, I don't know if he's watching something or he's just watching himself. But
well, Nicole is behind him now, and she seems to be adjusting the fans. So maybe Mike, you're correct. Is that maybe he was getting too hot, and he's finding that treadmill can optimize wind flow and keep him cooler. Nicole,
he needs one. He needs one, and he needs a bigger fan though. Or I don't know. Like, I don't know if is that also like a air conditioner next?
It looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like an air conditioner or maybe even a dehumidifier. It's very difficult to tell from the images that we've got. But
I mean, I know I need a lot of fans, like when I'm doing that. And then also, like, I haven't really seen him take any fluids in, which I'm a little surprised about. You know, even it's been maybe 25-30 minutes since I've been watching, and I haven't seen him take a single sip of anything. So I don't know if anyone's reminding him to eat and drink, but I know that he's like super baller and doesn't really need food as much as anyone in the world. But
yeah. Well, I mean, I think Tommy alluded to the fact that I think it's very easy for us to sit here and sort of say that he's not drinking. The one thing that I'm pretty sure Zach knows what to do is that he's going to have his nutrition and his hydration dialed in.
Exactly.
He's going to be working to some sort of strategy. He's doing a lot of talking at the moment. And I can't hear what he's saying. So maybe he's having a dialogue with Nicole and some of the other people that are there helping him, and he's asking for certain things. I mean,
there he goes. Boom.
There he goes.
All right, we called it.
He's done it.
Tony Romo, baby.
There you go.
Romo.
He's drinking again now. He's probably shouting at Nicole, saying that Mike Wardian's saying I'm not drinking enough, so I'm having to have a drink.
He also
Tommy
needs some ice, man. He needs some ice bags because he's gonna. I don't know. I get so hot, man. So yeah, I mean, I hope he has like a cold washcloth, and especially since he has two treadmills, even if he gets a little on the treadmill, he can switch and someone can dry off the mat on the auxiliary one. But yeah, I mean, like getting like keeping I mean, that's basically the limiting factor for me is like, if you get too hot, then your body wants to slow down. So the cooler you can stay.
Jacky, when you ran on the treadmill for your record, did you have two treadmills?
No, I'm not that lucky. No, I only had one.
Okay.
I have an older model than what Zach's running on. And I think one of my concerns was whether the treadmill was actually going to stop working, because the longest run till then on my treadmill was 10 miles. So you just don't know what they're going to do. And that was kind of one of the things in the back of my mind. I didn't actually, and Zach luckily has got two, which is great because I didn't have a backup. So if my treadmill was going to stop working, that was it. It was done.
Yeah, I mean, I think from Zach's point of view, he was originally going to do the record attempts in a different location.
Yeah.
But obviously because of the coronavirus, he felt that it was appropriate that he would stay at home.
Yeah.
So Nordic Track very kindly sponsoring the event brought 2 treadmills to him.
Yeah.
And as you say, if you're going to go for a record, then you need a backup should something happen to one of them. And it's interesting to see him moving from one to the other. Mike, how much does it mess around with your mind and your pace to have it disrupted by moving from one treadmill to the other?
I mean, I've done long events on treadmill, but not, try to do records. So like 50K is kind of the longest record I've attempted. And that's just too short of a race to be moving around that much. But when you're doing a longer event, and I'm sure he's got someone, keeping track of what he's putting, how many miles or kilometers he's putting on each one. And so as long as you're not having to try to figure that out. I mean, the other thing that he probably did, which can be super annoying, is however they're calibrated, sometimes they turn off after a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So they turn off after like half an hour if you get them from a health club, or like an hour. And then Jacky, I was wondering, like, if you're doing 100 miles, like my treadmill and a lot of the treadmills they time out after like 99 minutes. So you just have to keep like a separate clock or something. And then they don't go to like 100 miles. They'll only go to like 99 miles. So
it's funny. I'll jump in there, because the treadmill I've got actually kept going. It didn't actually time out. And that was a lot of the questions I got before I was going to do this treadmill 100. Everyone's like, yeah, but it's going to time out like the gyms. And mine actually just kept going. It actually literally just never stopped. And it actually hit 100 miles. It actually shows on the teller.
Wow, that's cool.
It was really cool. I've got a photo of it. It kind of, it's like weird. It shows like 1013. It kind of breaks it up like that. So it doesn't, but it does. It actually works it out to 100.
That's cool, because because most of the time, even when people have guaranteed me like, I've done, I ran a marathon at like a baseball stadium to try to beat like a baseball game, finish before the game. And, that one like kept timing out every half hour. So then you have to stop, turn it back on, start it again. And, I've done them at expos and stuff, and they're always like, oh, it's totally fine. And then, of course it's not.
And then it times out. And that exactly. To me was going to be the bit of the front. It's like, I don't know, because the longest I had run was 10 miles. So I was like, I'm not sure what my tread was going to do. So we'll see. And that was kind of I was thinking, and kind of, you work it into the whole program and think, oh, well, if it does time out, I'll just have to kind of work it in, and it will kind of eat into my time.
I'm loving Tommy's face while this conversation's going on, because
I can't see him.
The expression when Mike said 50 kilometers is too short, and Tommy sort of almost put his hand over his face, like only Michael Wardian would say 50 kilometers is too short.
Yeah,
those were the exact words that were going on in my head. Actually, it's like only Mike Wardian would think that 50 miles is too short of a race. But, just speaking
okay, we've got the graphic coming in.
A lot of fun to listen to. Thanks for being on. And Mike, I did watch you in the Backyard Ultra, and that was really impressive. So thanks for being on today and sharing some of your knowledge. We got an awesome message from Fight for the Forgotten that they have a donor that is going to match up to $10,000 in donations today.
Wow, congratulations.
Those donations.
Dude, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, they're loving what's happening today. So they're going to match up to $10,000. Congrats to our first Ultra winner. You have won a $100 online voucher. Again, check your social media. You will get information there on how to claim those prizes, and we'll get them out to you as soon as possible. And then we also have another of the SFuels product pack today for a group of other winners. And same thing for you guys, just reach out to us on social media and we will get those all sent out to you. And then don't forget about the Nordic Track Instagram. That way you can get entered in to potentially win one of the awesome treadmills that are being used today. We do have another athlete spotlight today. For this hour is going to be Kevin Barada. He is running far. That's his thing. He says he loves to run far. He's completed 700-mile runs in the last in his running career, and so he is happy to join today. There you are.
Hey, how are you, Kevin?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you guys?
Hey, Kevin.
What's up?
Just on my way up a really steep mountain right now. So we're climbing about 3,000 feet in about 2 kilometers. So pretty steep.
Cool. Well, gladly, Zach is not going to have to go up any hills. He's just got a nice treadmill to keep going, and he will be thankful he does not have that terrain at the moment.
All right. Well, I will take it back to you guys for continuing on the awesome conversation. Thanks for letting me butt in again.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my slot comes to an end at 2 hours, and it's fantastic to have 3 people joining me, because it was meant to be a rotation of 30 minutes per person. So I feel truly blessed that we're all here chewing the fat. Coming up to the 2 hour mark, is there anything that we should be specifically looking for, Tommy?
Oh man, I kind of was getting to this a little bit earlier, but what I've noticed for myself, and I'm assuming it's similar for other athletes, but rather than the discomfort, working in a linear progression, like I said, it really is cyclical. So you go through these bad phases, and if you let the doubt creep in and the fear creep in based off of how you're feeling at that moment, and you project forward and assume that it's going to be that much worse or proportionately worse later on, it can really cause a lot of negativity and actual inefficiency in your body physiologically. And so realizing that rather than this being just a solid uphill climb, it really does go in cycles. You go through some hard patches, you get through those hard patches, and it may last for a few seconds, it may last for a few minutes, it may last just as long as those fears and doubts are in your head. And if you can kind of usher those out, they're obviously still there, but it's like looking at the sun. It's there, but you don't want to stare right at it, and
Yeah.
so you push it out of the way, and then you just go another round, and that really is what it comes down to. And sometimes it's the same decision over and over and over 100 times, 1,000 times, who knows how many times during a 100-mile period, but it really is like, it's no different than life. You go through these struggles, and if you think, it's going to last like this forever and it can only get worse, well, then you start to despair. But if you realize this is just a hard moment, and I just got to get through this moment, and then, it'll get easy again, and it'll get hard again, but then it'll get easy again. And so it just keeps cycling through over and over and over. And, he who knows what he's feeling right now, but it may be uncomfortable. And he's, like I said, he's a veteran, he's an expert, and he knows that these rough patches, they'll come and they'll go, and then they'll come back again. And so it's just maintaining that perspective that it doesn't last forever, and you just keep moving forward. But
Yeah, Michael, from your perspective, what do you think? Do you think that he would have any benchmark pre-decided that he would try to aim for coming up to the 2 hour mark? Because it's a significant moment, isn't it? You're a sixth of the way through the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just wants to stay on pace. I'm sure that's what he's looking at. I mean, I was actually just before I was trying to look at like what pace he's been going through, but it seems, I mean, the nice thing about the treadmill is you don't have to worry about the pace because it's set. You just have to run it. All you got to do is just pick your feet up, and the pace is the pace. I'm wondering if he's going to fluctuate the pace at all, just because if you are running the exact same pace for that long without any uphill or downhill, just because it's locked in on the treadmill, if he's going to start to get a little bit of muscle fatigue from his feet just hitting in the exact same position for that long. Yeah. So I'm wondering if he's going to, start maybe fluctuating the pace a little bit, or even like the nice thing about that treadmill is that I think it goes up and down.
Yeah.
I don't think you can probably count it if it goes down, unless maybe you offset it going up. I don't know what the rule is on that. Usually it has to be at least at 0. So I don't think you can do that, but he could put it up to like 1% for a half mile or something and then back down, just so that his feet hit in a different place in a different pattern. Because right now you can see he's just staying in exactly the same place. His feet are hitting the same way. And he's taking water or nutrition, whatever it is. And he looks good. Like I'm wondering if he's like how he's actually feeling. Like, is his gut okay? Again, like I'm always worried about heat on these things. But he seems like super smooth and like, you know, I think like he shouldn't be feeling anything. Yeah, but he really shouldn't be feeling anything. Like this should be like super comfortable. Like if you're equating it to running a marathon, this should be like the first 5K, right? Like so. You know, he should be well within himself, and he looks like he is, and it should be just really, really comfortable. And he's just waiting right now. I mean, you're just buying time, and so you just want to just tune out and just keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, he did say that he was sort of like breaking the distance down into the first 30 miles and then the 60, 70 mile point and then the final section. And he would have small distractions, small visualizations, all to break up the monotony of being in one place and one time. And of course, as the day progresses, we're going to be able to maybe hear from Zach if he's got the time. You know, we can get questions to him. I know that we've got Jamil Curry in the waiting room. He's going to be taking over from me. So my 2-hour endurance slot will soon be coming to an end. Jamil, are you there? Can we bring you in at this point?
I am here.
Jamil is here. Welcome, Jamil. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing this morning?
All good. All good.
Quite the exciting Saturday for us all here.
Yeah, it's turned into a little bit of a party. We were meant to be having 3 guests in 30-minute slots, and everybody's just hanging around. So if we all carry on at this rate, this chat room could have about 60 people in by the end of the day.
Nice.
They're gonna start charging us.
They are. We're going to get done for loitering. So Jamil, I don't know if you've been sort of like tuning in for the first 2 hours of Zach's record. We've seen him take a bathroom break. We've seen him change treadmills twice. He's looking good. Is there anything that you've noticed that maybe we've not?
Yeah, I know you guys were talking a little bit about what's in his room there. I think you might be right. That might be a dehumidifier in the room. Yeah, it looks like he's got a fan on there too. I missed the first bit, but yeah, trying to get caught up right now. So sounds like you guys are catching me up a little bit up to speed here.
Yeah. So Tommy, before we disappear, 2 hours coming up. He's got 10 hours to go. In theory, we would hopefully see the 100-mile be completed before the 12 hours. I know that was Zach's target, and then he would continue on for the 12 hours to see if he could get the 12-hour treadmill record as well. I'm going to throw it out there, and I know this is a really, really unfair question, but to my 3 guests, give me a time for Zach's 100 miles.
Ooh, man. Oh, I think he could go under 11 hours if he keeps pushing it. I mean, I wouldn't doubt him on that. I don't think that he's gonna. I don't know. He doesn't half-ass anything, you know. So it's like if he's gonna go for it, you know, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he really tries to set a standard that, you know, will be very difficult for, you know, Mike Wardian to come and break in the future, because you know it's coming.
No, dude, no, that's just insanely impressive. Yeah, what is his current world record?
Well, so the track world record is 11:19:13, and Dave Proctor's treadmill record is 12:32. So there's a huge difference between Zach's track record and Dave's treadmill record. So go on, Mike, throw it out there. What do you think he's going to do?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know, man. I feel like Tommy is right, man. He's just such a badass. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's just the treadmill's tricky, man. It seems like it's easy, but it's not.
Yeah.
So and I think, didn't he do that at your race, Jamil? Did he do it at Jamil's race where he set his track PR?
No, track PR. No, it was the 6 days of the Dome.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I feel like sometimes like having people out there just to key off of rather than going solo, because he's basically doing like a time trial.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking like, and he knows he's got like such a big margin. So when it gets really hard, it might be easy just to slow down a bit because he knows he's going to crush the other record. So I'm thinking 11, but he still wants to break 12 hours. So 11:48.
11:48. Okay, Jacky, what do you think?
Oh man, it's really hard because the treadmill it's a tricky one because you don't have the same kind of support. You don't have oh man, I'm gonna go 11 and a half.
11
I
and
feel
a
like
half.
this is like Price is Right.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna totally smash it.
Okay,
I really
so
think, I think he's gonna
he,
smash it.
he's just gone through 16 miles in 1:54. So by my calculations, if he went 17 miles in 2 hours, then that is just under 12-hour pace. I'm not the best at maths, but I think that's about right. So if he's on 12-hour pace at the moment, it would be difficult for him to really push and get close to the 11-hour mark. But I do know that he did say that he would aim to hold 6:40s in once he'd got comfortable. Now 6:40s would give you around about 11 hours and 10 minutes. So I'm going to go 11 hours and 12 minutes.
Yeah, but we gotta keep in mind that he's gonna have a couple more bathroom breaks probably.
Yeah.
So like he's gonna lose some time there. And then switching treadmills too if he continues to do that. So that's why I'm thinking like, there's a bit of a buffer in there.
Yeah, there is a bit of a buffer. So let me bring Jamil back in. My sort of slot is coming to an end, and it will be time for me to say goodbye. So I'm gonna give a big thank you to Tommy, to Jacky, and to Michael for joining us. I'm going to bring Jamil in, and then Jamil is going to be joined by a whole host of guests to banter for the next 2 hours.